All right.
He's an idiot.
No, 1, 2, 3 Porkies.
1, 2, 3 Porkies. 1, 2, 3 Porkies.
In 2017, 9 scouts from Troop 377 ventured into the Porcupine Mountain State Park in Ontonagon, Michigan. This is the journey through motion pictures.
Like Jeffrey said, the sun is shining down. There ain't a cloud around. You call your friends, you said they're coming out. We're odd and out. Maybe they'll now fall in love with you.
Our journey starts in Clarkston, where the boys pack up and get ready for the 2-day road trip up the Mitten and into the UP. They make a couple of pit stops on the way, including lunch at an Arby's, where they take the famous dumpster photo.
Your friends can teach us how. Oh, can they now? Maybe they'll now fall in love with you. Like Jeffrey said.
After crossing the Mackinac Bridge and entering the UP, they check in and enjoy the rest of the day at a local campground in St. Ignace.
You call your friend, you said they're coming out. We're odd and out. Maybe they'll now fall in love with you. Maybe they'll now fall in love with you. Maybe they'll now fall in love with you.
There you go. Thank you. He's already an adult leader.
It's gonna be rough when you're all
I'm just
over
rooting
plates
for
here.
you right here.
On day 2 of their road trip, they got breakfast at a local restaurant and hit the road towards Ontonagon. Once they arrived in Ontonagon, they checked in at the Porcupine Mountains Welcome Center and got ready to set up the first camp at the Lake of the Clouds.
Sam, they're gonna beat you up.
We are on our bike. It is
6/13.
July 30th?
29.
Or 29th.
29th.
July
Saturday.
29th.
One day after the Emoji
6:15
Movie
in the
release.
afternoon. 18.
Porcupine Mountain Hike 2017.
Porcupine.
Right hand on the person to your left.
Porcupine 2017.
Sam,
On
Sam, get in.
3.
And then a yeehaw on the end.
And yeehaw again.
Yeah.
Sam, wait,
My arm can't make
Sam
it
needs
that
to
far.
get in. There we go.
Tiny.
1 second.
Charlie, wait guys, make
I was
room
supposed
for
to get it, but
Charlie.
somebody kind of like blocked my way in.
Here you go, Charlie. in.
Hold up the hand.
Okay, wait.
Oh,
It's
who's
up
that?
here. And you're down.
Let Jake in.
I'm in.
Separate.
Hey.
We got plenty of room here.
Okay.
Ready?
Quinn, you're
Ready?
pushing me out, pal.
So, Porcupine 17. Yeehaw.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. On 3. 1, 2, 3.
2017.
Emoji movie.
Yeehaw!
The boys hiked down the mountain into a small peninsula on the lake. That night, they swam in the lake at dusk and built a small fire to cook their first dinner.
Your friends, they said to me that you were talking in your sleep about the promises you keep. I know you drifted through the early years. You could fight to pass the time. When they found you, you were dealing with it fine. Want to tell you what it goes to. All the paper holding on to. So always great for the way you make me feel. All the things you do. What's up with the waves out on the coast? You say that something I should know. I think there's something they're not saying. When you survive it all the same, you're so impressed they know your name. And you're in love with how they say it.
When they woke up, their bodies were well rested and ready for the day ahead of them. They ate breakfast, packed up, and set off on North Mirror Lake Trail towards their next destination, the Mirror Lake campsite. This would be a total of around 6 miles hiked.
You don't see me. You say you want them to. Don't stop and don't turn. The things you've been through. They saw most of it. What did they take you for? And
When they arrived at Mirror Lake, they set up camp and ate lunch. Afterwards, they set up the bear bags, which are large bags full of food suspended in the air to deter bears away from the food. At this point, it was only noon, so they decided to hike 3 miles along Government Peak Trail to Government Peak, the second highest point in the park at 1,850 feet. The next morning, they woke up and packed up. They filtered water from a nearby stream for the long day ahead of them. They set off on South Mirror Lake Trail with an extension of Beer Creek Trail to see Summit Peak, the highest point in the park, at 1,958 feet.
It's kind of in my way. I don't know how to do this.
Yeah, stop. Kiss this baby up the street.
Guess we are not going back. Are we? I can hear you talk to the mirror, but I guess you don't talk to me. I'm sick of it too. Tell me, is it not getting any better? I guess it would have to be. Oh, please, please.
After visiting Summit Peak, they hopped on Little Carp River Trail and hiked to their next camp. They would have to cross rivers, walk across bridges, and finally, they reached their campsite along the Greenstone River. Once they set up, they enjoyed the cool river water. The total distance on the second day of hiking would be around 10 miles.
So when you talk to the mirror again, you ain't never so quick to turn yourself in.
Please don't be. This is our only swimming hole. I won't. This is the swimming hole. Yeah. That doesn't stretch.
On the third morning of hiking, they woke up and made breakfast using hot water and oatmeal. They packed up camp and set off towards their next campsite on Cross Trail. Eventually, they felt the brisk breeze from Lake Superior and began hiking along the coast, finding their next campsite.
It's one wicked road, you gonna make it right. You found your way to go, you gonna take that ride. No matter way too long, no matter way too right. You gotta wait too long to run away tonight. Was it the thing you heard? Was it the thing you said? I tried to find the words that made you walk away. The miles are way too long, the stars are way too bright. You gotta wait too long to run away tonight. Don't need to ride the way they do. Come home tonight, put a light on me and my blue skies black. Put a light on me and my blue skies black.
On the trail, they reached a large delta in the river. Here, they took a break and ate lunch. Will and Dean had rigged a fishing pole with some line, a hook, and a stick.
Gonna make them dry. The sun'll make them dry. The sun'll make them dry. The sun'll make them dry. It's one wicked road, you gonna make it right. You found your way to go, you gonna take that ride. The miles are way too long, the stars are way too bright. You gotta wait too long to run away tonight. Don't need to ride the way they do. Gone home tonight, put a light on me and on these skies black. The way they do. Gone home tonight, put a light on me and on these skies black. The way they do. Gone home tonight.
After hiking for 3 miles along the coast of Lake Superior, they finally found a campsite on the lake. For the rest of the evening, the boys enjoyed the cold water and relaxed to the sounds of the waves crashing against
Okay,
the
so
rocky shore.
I want to upgrade to a Google Pixel instead of using an iPhone.
Oh,
I want to use a Google.
Hey. All the time in geometry, right, Charlie?
Probably. No way, I'm just scratching my back for accident. In geometry, actually, when I was a sophomore, there's two.
It's all freaking rock here.
Watch the log get like pulled out by the rip current.
What?
Keep going until you get back.
Hey there.
All my aquariums when I was a kid, because it still looks like Superior Rock. I don't think it doesn't keep it on me just to collect like buckets of them and gravel at the aquarium.
I got rock left carried around for my wife.
Hey, boys, no farther!
Come back!
Come back!
A shrimp.
Dad! My fair bag's already ready. You can put it up.
The next morning, the boys woke up to the sound of the Superior waves crashing on the beach. It had gotten windier. They packed up and hiked along the shore on the Lake Superior Trail back towards the road that leads to the Lake the Clouds overlook where they first began. On the way, they had to climb up the mountain on the side of the road. While hiking along the shore, they visited a landmark known as Lone Rock, a very large protruding rock a couple hundred feet off the shore of Lake Superior.
It's even weirder because I have my finger in his pocket.
After hiking up the road to the Lake of the Clouds, they finally concluded the rest of the journey. They had hiked a total distance of 50 miles in 4 days. After getting one more view of the lake, they went to Presque Isle Campground and set up for the night. They went to a pizza place and got to sit down and eat real food for the first time in what seemed like forever. Even though the pizza tasted like cardboard, it was heaven compared to the bagged dry food they had been eating.
So Will, what'd you think of all of it?
It's pretty great. Good hike, good food, good boys, fun times.
On the last day, they packed up and left Presque Isle Campground. They drove all the way through the UP and stopped at the legendary Dreamland Motel for lunch. In 2016, they had stopped there after backpacking Isle Royal. After lunch, they headed back down the Mackinac Bridge and decided to make the journey home in one day. That would conclude the Troop 377 2017 Porcupine Mountain backpacking trip.
Circles that grow and they swallow people whole. After life drives, they say goodnight to wives they'll never know. And a mind full of questions and a teacher in my soul. And so it goes. Don't come closer or I'll have to go. Holding me like gravity are places that pull. If ever there was someone to keep me at home, it would be you. Everyone I come across in cages they bought, they think of me and my wandering, but I'm never what they thought. Got my indignation, but I'm pure in all my thoughts. I'm alive. Wind in my hair, I feel part of everywhere. Underneath my being is a road that disappeared. Late at night I hear the trees, they're singing with the dead overhead. Leave it to me as I find a way to be. Consider me a satellite forever orbiting. I knew all the rules, but the rules did not know me. Guaranteed.
Almost 4 years later, I had returned to the Porcupine Mountains on a vacation during COVID-19. I visited the Lake of the Clouds, hiked along the Greenstone River, and climbed the Summit Peak Tower. I reminisced on the great adventure I and my brothers took so long ago, and looking back, I am so glad I got the footage I did. I will always remember this trip for as long as I live, and my heart belongs in the UP, specifically within the great forests and mountains of this beautiful and mysterious